Companies are now choosing Mozambique for their businesses. In fact, South African companies, some of them are making a big move. They are closing their operations in South Africa and they are now relocating to Mozambique because of what's currently happening, because of the growing sentiment or growing anti-illegal migrant sentiment in South Africa. They are going next door. Mozambique is a neighbor of South Africa. So a lot of people are worried. This match and match thing is supposed to bring a lot of jobs to the people of South Africa. But instead, these jobs are being taken from South Africa to their neighboring countries. And the government of South Africa went to Mozambique to negotiate for power supply. Let's watch.
If you watched my last video, which was just commenting about what is happening in South Africa with all this anti-foreigner movement, which was started by Jacinta, it was interesting for me to realize, to watch an interview by Spotline. I don't know whether Spotline is the company or is the interviewer. I do not know who is who. And the owner of that particular company was saying, I've closed my company. I'm going to reopen in Mozambique, because I'm just quoting his words. South Africans do not want to work. They want to do what they like. Obviously, foreigners were the ones. He actually mentioned Zimbabwe in particular, that the Zimbabweans are very hardworking. Obviously, they know what it is not to have everything, having their own problems in Zimbabwe, as we know what is going on there. But the fact that this person did mention that when South Africans are working, they do what they like, and yet they forget people who are in business are supposed to make profits. So then, hopefully, I'm hoping that Jacinta can see that particular video. And as we go on with this particular movement, a lot of things are going to unravel. Everything will come into the open, thanks to Jacinta. Now, they won't have foreigners to blame. How is she going to explain companies closing if they say they are going to go to Mozambique? Obviously, I think the argument may be what perhaps South Africans can say is that these foreigners, because their countries are suffering, they don't care what pay they get. Yeah, that may be a very good argument. But the fact that the person said Zimbabweans are hardworking says something. And when you have gone to work, you have to work so that the output will justify your existence in that particular position, because you can only earn what you can only earn when you have put some input yourself, when you have contributed to the input. So I just thought that was very interesting, whether Jacinta and her movement will see this video and see that everybody is watching and everybody knows what is going on. I think the other aside to this, which I thought I should mention while I made this, somebody was asking why was South African government not doing anything. It's now very clear, because at the present moment, it looks like from outside, we can be corrected. ANC is slowly losing popularity with the electorate. The electorate were expecting things to have changed, and things have not changed. I don't know how long they've been independent, 30 years or so. I do not know how long they've been independent. And people are beginning to say, why can't we see the change? So that's why the South African government didn't do anything to protect the people who were being victimized. I said in my last video, no one can condone things which are done illegally. People shouldn't go into other countries without proper documentation. If they want to go and be a citizen of a certain country, they have to follow the right channels. So I do not condone that people should go and live in a country illegally. But having said that, things are coming out in the open. Things are not okay. ANC is losing popularity, so they can allow Jacinta and her mob, if we can call them that, to go and harass people who are already frustrated with the situations in their own country. So, and this morning again, I actually heard, I think that Mozambique, the South African with their power problems which they're experiencing, they were trying to negotiate whether Mozambique could supply the power South Africa wants. That alone should tell Jacinta that African countries need each other, even if they don't like them illegal immigrants. So if Mozambicans who have been chased from South Africa tell their government that you can give anybody else power but don't give South Africa, they treated them as badly, what will happen? Each country depends on the other, depending what you are going to be trading with the other country. So that's why I said Jacinta is not very clever. She pretends to be clever. She may have had 10 minutes of fame when thousands of people were marching on the street. But she had not thought this out. She had not even sat down with people who know the industry and the trade and everything to say, what are the pros and cons of you doing that? So now, from the outside, we are now hearing what is happening. I just pray that Jacinta will see this interview by Spotline, what they are saying. They are moving, they are closing their factory, they want to go to Mozambique. Mozambicans are some of those people who were driving Jacinta and the mob crazy. But that's where, fortunately, this is good. If that company go to Mozambique, they are going to get jobs in that company in their country, so they don't need to come back to South Africa. Interesting. I think some of these things people should sit down and think the consequences before they put them in their activism into action.
Mozambique is now becoming the destination of choice, while South Africa risks losing jobs, investment, and economic activities. Mozambique now stands to gain what South Africa is pushing away. I posted a video yesterday where in South Africa, a whole community were closing hardware companies like building materials companies. You know, building materials shops or businesses requires a lot of capital to establish those businesses. But these communities, or let me say South Africans, are closing these businesses just because these businesses are owned by migrants. I know there is a law in South Africa that requires 5 million rands before every migrant can set up a business in South Africa. Okay, why not do it this way? These businesses requires a lot of money. So if that business is not up to 5 million rands, we give you a time, like a time limit for you to achieve that threshold. Give them a year or two for them to achieve that 5 million rands. If not, you take the businesses. You see, by this, these companies will still be in operations in the country. But this is the case. You are closing those companies. Do you think any other investor would like to come and invest in South Africa again? If we talk now, South Africans will come for us. Talk about your country, blah, 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 blah. No problem. We will talk about our country. But don't forget, let me end it this way. My name is Matiti. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next one.